Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Kyoto Bolt fam. Chargers fans of America, dude, I don't even know where to begin with today's show. I know everybody's seen the news by now. The Chargers have a glorious new head coach in Jim Harbaugh. Still can't even believe it. We had to bring in some company, some backup to celebrate the occasion. And today we are going to celebrate with our very good friend of the show, Dan Wolkenstein of Chargers Unleashed. We just got done doing an episode for their show. We're going to jump on and let the party continue here. Because honestly, if me and Dan didn't have prior commitments, we probably would talk the entire day as to how amazing the future of the Chargers looks all of a sudden. But we're going to try and capture a little bit of that magic and spit it out on YouTube for you fine Chargers fans out there to share in the enthusiasm. Dan, give me like 3 words to exclaim your excitement of the last 24 hours.
Ugh. 3 words? I can't do 3 words. Are you kidding me?
Okay, maybe I'll give you 1 word. I'll lead you in. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
Nobody, baby. Nobody. This Chargers fandom, this Chargers team, this Chargers, what we were saying, timeline has just been bumped into a new dimension. The future of the Chargers looks bright. I don't think it's ever looked as bright, and Chargers fans have very many reasons to celebrate. So today, me and Dan are going to go over some of our initial reactions of how we feel and how we're excited and some of the repercussions that we think are going to be very immediate with Jim Harbaugh coming onto the scene, and share with you guys our experience as Chargers fans going through one of the best days in franchise history. So before we do jump into it, shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use code DIRECTOR to match your first deposit up to $100, and definitely take advantage of ExpressVPN as to get access to your NFL games as well. With that, guys, let's get into it. Do you want to give us a lights, camera, action here real quick, Dan?
Oh, yes. Oh, I can do the honors. All right, lights, camera,
action. All right, we are back, baby. Okay, so Dan, I had some stuff prepared for today's video, right? I got some images here that we're going to kind of push us to some narratives and talk about things that are important, such as where Jim Harbaugh met his wife and why it's significant to the Chargers' future. But as we recorded our episode for Chargers Unleashed, I think I discovered how important it is for us to capture this moment in Chargers history from a fan's perspective, and really make sure that, for the record, we have a clear idea of our emotion in this transaction, because it is a significant moment in Chargers history. In 2085, there are going to be people saying, look up this old thing called YouTube to see what the Chargers fans thought about this team-altering move. Like, this is a significant moment in this team's history, and I want to make sure everybody knows and has record of how we felt during this transition. So first off, Dan, you told me the story already. Tell me what was going on as the news dropped yesterday of the Harbaugh signing to the Chargers. Where were you? What were you wearing? What were you thinking about? What was your mental space looking like?
Well, look, I'm not trying to make this a little visual, but I wasn't wearing much because I literally had just got home from the gym, and I have been like, very addicted to this cell phone in front of my face, just refreshing. My thumb's getting sore. I'm just like sweating bullets the whole time trying to make sure this thing actually goes through. But I'm like sweating and smelly because I just got home from the gym. All right, I'm gonna take a shower. So I go take a shower, come out of the shower, and my phone has blown up. Like, I'm talking, I have several missed calls. My co-host Jake is like wondering where the hell I am, and I have text messages galore. And I literally am calling my co-host. I'm not even dressed yet. I'm like, is everything okay? And scream fest ensues. And immediately we got to go into like live content mode. So we go, I'm like still dripping water in my hair. I'm still like wet from the shower doing a live stream, and I can't even process my emotions. So I'm like doing this thing live as we're going through. Like, literally, I didn't see anything. All I had was my co-host telling me it was done, and he sent me the tweet that from Schefter, and that was it. And so emotionally, I lost it. I was like, I can't explain how gratifying that was that day. Like, I will never forget yesterday.
It really is one of those things where I'm going to remember what I was doing, where I was, the mental space I was in. I mean, fortunately for me, I was live. I was playing video games on my gaming channel, but I was live. As a matter of fact, we'll run that clip here real quick. Oh, it happened. I gotta go. Guys, It happened. Breaking. Jim Harbaugh is leaving Michigan to accept the head coaching job of the Los Angeles Chargers via Adam Schefter! Woo! So we luckily caught the magic in the moment, but I think what people are missing in terms of context, really, like, I gotta go, bye, everybody bye. My brother was super chill about it too, because he knew. I've been talking to him about it as well, beforehand, as to how significant this move would be, but the lead up to this decision, the lead up to this hire,
the roller
was
coaster.
Almost as stressful as it was exciting. It really was. If you guys were part of the madness, we'll say 72 hours prior to this hire, you will know how many gray hairs maybe sprouted in that time. It was chaos, because Jim's gonna do what Jim's gonna do to the beat of Jim's drum on Jim's terms and timeline. It was a lot of speculation, a lot of why hasn't he signed yet, but mostly a lot of refreshing on Twitter. What did we call it, Dan, before the show? We called it the Great Refreshing, I think was that 72 hours in waiting for Jim Harbaugh to make that decision and to sign with the Chargers. I don't know if I've ever been put in that position before. The only thing that even comes close that reminds me of it is my wife was very invested in the whole Johnny Depp trial a couple years ago, right? The whole world stopped what they were doing. They were watching it on the crapper. Like, everyone was glued to that narrative. It felt that way, but for the Chargers, obviously in a much lighter light. But for the Chargers fans, in that 72 hours waiting for something to happen, and every 30 minutes or so, a big significant news source would post something in relation to the story to reset our hype, and then maybe twice a day a story about he's going to go visit with the Falcons. There's maybe complications, and then all of us would panic. There'd be literally that meme of SpongeBob and Patrick running around. There's papers flying everywhere.
Dan Quinn's name gets brought up constantly, like, oh, we're going Dan Quinn, aren't we?
Oh my God. Just the anxiety, the stress, the excitement. I don't know if I'll ever live through anything quite like that ever again, unless the Chargers make it to the big game. Which at this point, who knows, everybody? Who knows? But a very significant moment in time.
I think the director, the part that is significant, and it's easy to just think about this as like a Chargers fan, but think about how impactful this moment is for Michigan fans, or for AFC West fans, or for Jim Harbaugh. Like, his whole life just changed. And how important it is for Chargers fans and all of us here, content creators, and everyone who's excited about the move. Like, this is a life-altering decision for many organizations and many families. The staff that's coming over with Jim Harbaugh. The staff that's currently at the Chargers. Like, the impact is massive. And so
on the Harbaugh side, John was being interviewed this morning talking about how the kids and everybody were packed, they were ready, they're excited to go. But yeah, you don't even think about the coordinators and his staff that he's going to be bringing over. And then just the ripple effect of, once he's here, how much change is about to take place over the next year or two. Like, the change from the very basics of what they put in the vending machine to who's leading football operations on the other side could be massive.
It blows my mind how it's actually done. Like, it's behind us.
It's like a dream.
It's no longer a thing that keeps you up at night. It's the thing that helps you fall asleep now. Like, literally. I slept like a baby.
What did I just tell you,
night.
Dan? It feels like Ben Affleck just moved in next door in that crappy house that's been vacant for 4 months. It's like, why is Ben Affleck? Doesn't he have better places to be? Like, why is he here? Like, the excitement of it all is unbelievable almost. It feels like it's weird because obviously, the NFL's full of celebrity personalities and stuff like that. But I kind of feel like, what's that word when you're shocked by a celebrity? Like, I feel that with Jim Harbaugh being on
awestruck.
my team. Yeah, starstruck. I'm starstruck.
Starstruck.
I'm starstruck with Jim Harbaugh being on the Los Angeles Chargers. It doesn't feel like real. It feels almost like, because we're Chargers fans, man. We've been through this so many times. This was the fourth quarter, like where everything's supposed to fall apart. We're supposed to charger. We took that pivot, and it forever changed the fate of this team and the fan base forever. This is a huge, huge impact move. So my first question to you, Dan, we're going to continue refreshing some of these images just to get us hyped here. My first question to you, Dan.
So pretty.
In terms of immediate impact, in terms of looking ahead, looking to the future, what is the first thing that comes to mind with Jim Harbaugh now being at the helm with the Chargers? In terms of positive change, what should we be excited about?
Man, I can go so many different directions, but I probably would just say like fundamentals. And you can go many different avenues of fundamentals, but like the fundamentals of building a roster, the fundamentals of building a staff, the fundamentals of winning football games, the fundamentals of practice, the fundamentals of football. So many times there's so many tertiary things that people get caught up in and would like to have in an organization. But what Jim Harbaugh brings to me is fundamental success using fundamentals. Like the Chargers organization hasn't had that. Like they haven't had the staff that is fundamentally needed to support a successful organization. They haven't had fundamentals in late game situations. They haven't had fundamentals when it comes to player archetype and draft that you need to get in late rounds. Like there's fundamental issues that have been plaguing this team organizationally from top to bottom that Jim Harbaugh brings so much experience and success in ridding some of that toxic stuff and focusing on what matters. And so fundamentals, that's probably the one theme that I would go with that Jim Harbaugh brings that is now like a competitive advantage for the Chargers. When's the last time we had a competitive advantage organizationally?
Probably Marty. Yeah, way back in the day. And that's why it's been so long and why it's such a big deal is because we kind of know what it's going to be like. And of course, the 06 team, probably the most legendary team in Chargers history, that's the direction we're headed at 100 miles an hour. And in terms of fundamentals, and this is something that we just talked about on the Chargers Unleashed special that's going to be coming out, I think in terms of fundamental change, it's as evident in what Jim Harbaugh does in the moment, leading teams like Michigan and Stanford especially, and San Francisco. It's just as important what he does with his time there and as evident as when he leaves. The evidence of the footprint that he leaves behind in a program like Michigan is still going to be felt after he's gone. It's because of what he built fundamentally, what he built in the back end. That lasts. And it just shows how important, how big of a change that is. When he went to the Niners, that team was hot garbage before he set foot into that organization. Yes, he turned it around quick. And yes, he took them to a Super Bowl. Lost by 7 yards. Got very close. But even after he left, that footprint remained. That team, that organization shifted in that moment. And they've been keeping momentum ever since. The same thing happened at Stanford. Same thing happens everywhere he goes. And that's why this impact in terms of fundamentals is so important because, yes, we've lacked it. We've not had it. And what are we going to do once we got it? How long is it going to be? I think even past the Harbaugh era, which is really looking ahead, but even past the Harbaugh era, what he builds today and what he builds over the next 5+ years is going to last this organization maybe my lifetime, which is insane to think about. Now, I'll share with you my immediate, ripple in the force. I knew something was about to happen. My first thought was, good for Justin Herbert, dude. I think we've all known this. The lead up, of course, as content creators, we've talked up and down, left and right about every, angle of what Jim Harbaugh is going to bring to this team. But I found myself in the moment once we hired Jim Harbaugh thinking about Justin Herbert. And I think we all know why. We've covered why. It's because Jim Harbaugh is one of the most significant personas you can put in a room with that position to turn them from whatever they are into a superstar. Alex Smith was okay. He was kind of considered a bust by some people. It didn't matter. He turned into a superstar. And he changed for, again, the Harbaugh footprint was left on him even after he left San Francisco. He goes on to the Chiefs. And he has a great career, right? Same thing, without the political complications, Colin Kaepernick was heading in the same direction, right? And then he finds quarterbacks along the way in Michigan. Most recently, J.J. McCarthy. I think he finally hit that quarterback that was just good enough to get them through and to the Natty. And then finally,
by the way, Andrew Luck.
And Andrew Luck, of course, Andrew Luck in Stanford. But then finally, he's landing in a position where I think he's got the best quarterback he's ever worked with. I think you can throw Andrew Luck in that conversation. But in the pros, right off the bat, not having to build up an Andrew Luck, Justin Herbert here, I think this is the best position that Jim Harbaugh has ever been put in. And I think it's the best thing, and we've seen this narrative on Twitter already today, the best thing to ever happen to Justin Herbert. And I think, like we were saying on your show earlier, the first thing that we're going to notice in the regular season in terms of positive change is going to be Justin Herbert. I think we're going to see a drastic change in how he's used. Maybe he's used less because the run game looks great. Who knows? But his success rate, I think, is going to go through the roof. And I think the results of that are going to be very evident right off the bat.
I'm fascinated to learn and to start seeing like their dynamic, their relationship, like how they communicate with one another, because like their personalities are so different. And
what are you telling me that you're excited to see?
So if everyone's seen it, all of the Jim Harbaugh quarterbacks, he does that little like pad punch thing. Even quarterbacks that you wouldn't have thought would want to do that have become that. Is that going to be Justin Herbert? I don't know. But they are going to have a thing. Whatever the thing is, I don't know. But you're right. Justin deserves this, man. And how many coordinators, how many coaches, how much fluctuation has he gone through? And now he has Jim Harbaugh as his coach. Like, there is no other way. Like, was it all worth it? You might argue yes. I know that sounds crazy, but if you fast forward 5 years, whatever it is in your pro career, and now you're getting to work with Justin Herbert, working with Jim Harbaugh, making max dollars in LA, show me a better dream than that. By the way, this is the team that both of them were quarterbacks and dreamed of playing for.
And it feels like Justin Herbert is in a place right now where he needs this the most in his career. We talked about how Justin Herbert, to me at least, in the Brandon Staley era, more particularly in this last season, looked defeated. Not just as, a player, but like as a person. Like his personality has shifted. Let's be honest. Like Justin Herbert, bright-eyed coming into the NFL 2020, breaks a bunch of records. I think that's a big part of playing the position. That confidence is big, huge. And he lost it somewhere along the way in the Brandon Staley era. I saw him
the crazy part is even with that lost confidence and that difference of personality, at least perception wise, the kid still balled out, man.
Oh yeah. And you remember Alex Smith in the Niners days, even pre-Niners, or I should say, early before Jim Harbaugh Niners days. He was not what he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, he turns into a leader, he turns into a vocal leader, he turns into a personality leader of men, obviously. But beforehand, no, he was very quiet, not very personable. I think that's kind of where we're looking at with Justin Herbert right now. We're training him to become that leader. We tried with Brandon Staley, but it feels like Brandon Staley was too micromanagey to let that blossom so much. Justin Herbert with Jim Harbaugh, however, I think we've seen enough patterns with the quarterbacks that he's worked with at a much lesser talent value. I'm going to say that right off the bat. That'll turn Justin Herbert into a superstar. I think, honestly, if you guys are looking for what's the biggest thing that Jim Harbaugh is going to bring me now today, it's going to be the best version of Justin Herbert. Like that, we're going to see at least a preview of that very soon at the start of the season.
And generally speaking, like maximizing talent. Like that's what Jim Harbaugh does.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, you could say it about Justin Herbert, but go down the list of players that we say, oh, they're so talented, but there's always a but.
Yep.
That's what Jim Harbaugh does. That's his claim to fame, is developing and maximizing talent. And now he's the coach of this Chargers team.
Master tactician of understanding personnel. That is one of the biggest things that always bothered me in the Staley era is, why is this guy out there? Or why didn't we have this dude playing this position after what we saw in camp? The translation of camp to real life, football was also very frustrating. The version of Quentin Johnston that we saw preseason to what we saw in the regular season. What happened? What happened? Right? Jim Harbaugh, it's the opposite almost. It's like he holds his cards close to his vest, and then all of a sudden in the regular season, where'd this kid come from? You know what I mean? Harbaugh knew the entire time. I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure. I would definitely recommend it now that we have, pen to paper Jim Harbaugh on the team. I would highly recommend enjoying the program, All or Nothing, on Amazon with the Michigan Wolverines of the 2018 team, I think, 2017. It's been a couple of years, but it shows his beginnings a little bit as a Michigan coach. He's 2 years in, I think, at that point. You get to know Coach on a very personable level, how he likes to run things, and why his method of madness works in the head coach position. It's fascinating, and it's very easy to see why this dude's a leader of men, why people love him so much, but also take his experience very seriously. They take it to heart, they apply it, and it works. His success rate is stupid everywhere he goes. His success rate is proven, and now he's being put into maybe one of the best situations he has ever been in off the bat with a Justin Herbert, with young stars all over the roster. I don't want to be too... I'm always labeled the optimist. I'm always saying, director, he's got stars in his eyes, whatever. But guys, I mean, honestly, like, who are we to say that he's not going to jump into the NFL a success because of the surrounding pieces that he has that gives him a much bigger advantage here than he has anywhere else? Like, who are we to say and deny him that? I think it's very possible.
If it didn't happen, it'd be the first time in his career it didn't. Man, that's a very long career full of lots of success and lots of times that people doubted him. I mean, what he did at Stanford, honestly, going from a one-win team to making USC look like the JV squad?
He put Pete Carroll in a college football coffin that last year.
Literally.
He pushed Pete Carroll out of college ball. Like, why? What?
He had
How?
Toby Gerhardt almost winning the Heisman.
Oh my God.
So, like, there is no hyperboles. Like, the reason why he was the reason why he was so sought after is for a reason. Like, the guy just wins. He wins. His teams win. His family wins. Everything he touches turns to gold. And now he's going for that illustrious Super Bowl because the guy is so maniacally focused on competition and drive. And to see how he ends up mentoring all these players, and Justin, again, these are two quarterbacks. Like, this is what so many fans were begging for. Like, take away the Jim Harbaugh name, you got an offensive mind now at the helm. You got stability, consistency, a quarterback guru,
a team builder.
And by the way, a team builder, and it's Jim Harbaugh. Like, there's a reason why the whole sports world is talking the Los Angeles Chargers right now.
Oh, yeah. It's an easy narrative to follow and to fall in love with as well. Like, you take a look, like, even past, what he's done in Michigan and all this kind of stuff, like, I think it plays a very important role here. He says, what did he say in his opening statement? It feels like he's coming back home again, like he did with Michigan. He's got unfinished business, and he wants to do for the Chargers what he's done for Michigan. That's insane to me because it is the same story. It is the same thing. His football coaching origins is in California, San Diego, with the Chargers. I don't think this deal gets done if he doesn't have the relationship with the Spanoses that he had. I think that was a very important factor. It's weird.
Agreed.
I think Harbaugh, being as quirky as he is, gets along with the Spanoses very well. And you can't say that about everybody with the Spanoses. But for some reason, that relationship worked. And it paid dividends in the end.
He's invested. Like, you see how much he cared to get that Michigan team over the hump. Like, for the brand, for the family, for the city, like the whole thing. Like, that same persona, that same drive is for this Chargers team. Like, he supposedly has a house down in San Diego still. Like, it's a scary thought to have Jim Harbaugh as the coach, but having him as the coach of a team that he's invested in personally just raises the stakes, man.
It does.
It just does.
You take a look at what he values, right? Family and faith and football. It feels like he applies that to his origins pretty aggressively, right? And in terms of Michigan, he's a Michigan man. He'll always be a Michigan man. Any Michigan fans watching this, I'm sure you guys know that his legend and legacy in Michigan is never going to go away. What he's done is incredible out there. But to see that same narrative and that same energy be applied to the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers is also very exciting because, like Michigan, we've waited a long time. And Michigan, you can say in college and in the pros, those fans have waited a long time. Their time is here. And that's super exciting as a Chargers fan to observe, because we're in that spot right now. We're in that point where we've paid our dues. I put this in the hype video. We've paid our dues. We've had our heart broken over and over and over again for decades. I feel like Jim Harbaugh is finally the end result of that. Like, just make it to Jim Harbaugh. What did I tell Dan? I was like, if I went back in time and I saw myself in a dark corner in the room, in the fetal position after losing to the winless Browns a few years ago, if I could go up to myself and whisper, "It's okay, you're getting Jim Harbaugh in 2024," I'd be like, okay, it'll be worth it. Like, we didn't know where we were headed. Now that we got Jim Harbaugh on this team, it feels like the Brandon Staley bullcrap was worth it. Anthony Lynn, I think I liked Anthony Lynn most out of all the recent head coaches. Even in those times, it was worth it. Freaking Mike McCoy, which I never thought the words would ever leave my mouth, that was worth it. That's probably my least favorite of all of them. Even Norv Turner, all the pain, all the close losses, all of the bull crap that's been thrown our way as Chargers fans, because, yeah, we were the chokers for the longest time.
We're a verb, like to charger.
Yeah,
that's
the
verb.
Chargerers. All of that's worth it now. We got Jim Harbaugh in the building. It's absolutely liberating and vindicating to feel that all of that pain and all that suffering as Chargers fans for so many years is finally coming to an end. And a lot of people say, "Oh, director, you're counting your hens." No, I'm just very confident. And the math checks out here in terms of Jim Harbaugh. Success starts now, whether it takes a year or 2 years or 3 years. It's coming. And it's here in the building today. Now, one thing, Dan, we don't have the longest time here, that I kind of wanted to go over because we glanced over it a little bit on the Chargers Unleashed episode, was the impact that Jim Harbaugh is going to have on the Chargers this offseason, more particular through the draft, because of his unique perspective on the prospects coming in. Of course, Jim has been there along the entire ride for these kids in terms of recruitment and all that kind of stuff. Can you give us your perspective on what that's going to do for the Chargers? Just that one snippet of Jim Harbaugh. If we were to take one great thing about Jim Harbaugh to be excited about and just focus in on that for a second, what is Jim Harbaugh bringing to the Chargers in terms of the draft here in a couple of months?
Now, this is where things start getting spicy and start getting really fun, because there's a couple avenues of the impact of Jim Harbaugh in the draft. Like, one, before we even get to the draft and prospects, it's him now being connected and working and collaborating with the staff that's responsible for looking for the prospects for the draft, and having that collaboration to where the coordinators, the head coach, the personnel, the scouting, the general manager, all of them are in sync with, hey, this is Jim Harbaugh speaking. Hey, scouts, this is the player archetype I want at wide receiver. This is the archetype that we need to have at running back or linebacker or tight end or insert thing. And to be able to start from scratch and have that buy-in and collective effort to get those prospects on a board, that is what I'm excited about. Because before, it was kind of square peg, round hole. You had Tom Telesco, old regime plus insert new head coach, vice versa. The personnel, we don't know. John Spanos, we don't know. The player personnel, scouting department, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is now building from the ground up. So leading into the draft, that's huge. And I don't think that gets talked about enough, and how impactful, important that is, to have all of those things connected with a head coach who knows prospects probably better than anybody else this season and probably next season as a head coach. But then you fast forward to the actual draft and what they could possibly be looking for and how that impacts the type of players they go after. Like, then it gets crazy, because, everyone's talking about wide receiver at 5, or maybe Brock Bowers at 5. Hell, maybe they go offensive tackle at 5.
If it means we get Jim, I think everyone's happy with that.
Yes, trust the process, right? Shout out to Joel Embiid. But this team is going to take on the personality of its head coach. And that's physical, that's aggressive, it's confident, it's fundamentally sound. And you go up and down whatever draft board you want, what round you want to be looking at. I can promise you this. They're going to get developed. They're going to be successful, put in positions to succeed at minimum. And does it shift maybe who they go after if it's not Jim Harbaugh versus Jim Harbaugh? Sure. But to have that draft philosophy and the pedigree and the understanding of the prospects in the building that has had firsthand experience with them, playing with and against them, and has scouted for some of them already. He's probably been at the houses of some of these guys. Like, that is so invaluable to me.
It's a big advantage, and that's what Jim Harbaugh is bringing to you. That you mentioned that this, for the first time in forever, we have advantage. Let me share with you one, I think, a very important aspect here that I ran across in an article a couple of weeks ago in terms of the value you're getting in this opportunity of having a fresh college coach come into the NFL. A lot of the times there's a lot of disadvantages, and there's some outliers like Jim Harbaugh and others. But having a college coach come into the draft system or to the draft phase is hugely valuable. And one of the biggest successes that we've seen in NFL history was from his rival, Pete Carroll, when he moved off USC into the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to say one sentence and one sentence only. I'll look at your face right afterwards. If you take a look at the Seattle Seahawks and in their time with Pete Carroll, especially in the first 2 or 3 seasons, you will see through their draft process that the Legion of Boom was built in the middle rounds because of his perspective in the college world. And what's even more exciting is that I was watching a program on HBO. It's called Belichick and Saban or whatever, 2 of the greatest coaches ever. And their relationship also fed into Bill Belichick's success in the middle rounds as well. Sure, he stunk in the first 2 or 3 rounds, but we're always like, who is this guy? This J.C. Jackson or this Jackson or the other recent, DBs that have been amazing out of the middle rounds. It's because Saban was feeding him information the entire time, which is not illegal. It's really not. They were just good buddies, right? They were raised together.
That's what happens.
And he'll say, oh, no, not this guy, but this guy right here. That's the one that you want. And then oftentimes you'll find these dudes in the middle rounds. That's what the Chargers fans should be excited about this upcoming April. We've not seen anything quite like this ever. I think very few teams get to experience a draft phase quite as unique as having a decorated college coach come in with a decorated NFL resume as well. It's exciting. It's exciting. And what this offers the Chargers, even as an extra cherry on top with the Jim Harbaugh narrative, is the fact that our next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 years, our next 2 to 3 years of Chargers drafts are going to have some major value in the middle rounds because Jim has unique perspective, and it's at a time the Chargers need it the most when building a new team, building new philosophies, building new system schemes. Having that perspective is a major leg up in terms of other rebuilding teams like Cardinals a little bit, or other teams that are going to take years are going to be a fraction of what the Chargers need to spend because of perspective from Coach Harbaugh.
I'm telling you, the ripple effect, to your point, it knows no bounds, and it's going to be something where you it's kind of interesting because you want more swing to the plate, right? Like, you want to be able to have more cracks at these drafts, and having a player like that or a coach like that is just, it gives you optimism because they know, right? Like, they know this stuff. You can't help but be excited about it. You can't, because you've seen the success, and the guy knows front and center firsthand what it takes to draft, to bring these players in. He's done it before, and do it again.
We are here. We have arrived, Chargers fans. All of the pain, the suffering, the heartbreak, the tears, I feel finally have been vindicated. We're going to start seeing repercussions of that as soon as April, I do believe. Heck, I think even at the Combine, a lot of us are going to get that spidey tingle of, ooh, Coach Harbaugh is looking at this particular prospect with a little more glimmer in his eye than maybe over here or over there. The narrative is going to start to explode here in the next couple of weeks. As even in the next couple of days, I'm sure everyone's going to be very excited to see his press conference. Lots of good things coming the way for Chargers fans, the Chargers organization. And let's say bravo to the Spanoses. Bravo to the Spanoses for changing your stars, changing your narrative, and changing the perspective of pretty much every sports fan has towards the Spanos family. It's never too late to do the right thing. Well, unfortunately, we've ran out of time here, guys, but we have a lot more to talk about on the Harbaugh narrative, the Harbaugh story going forward. It's going to be a very fun offseason, and one that I hope to see way more collaborations with me and Dan and other Chargers content creators, because this is a time to grab your closest Chargers fans and embrace each other in celebration. This is the most significant move in franchise history, at least potentially, and I think we're going to start seeing evidence of that very, very quickly. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the director and Dan Wolkenstein. Dan, you had me exit out the video last one. Go ahead and give us an exit here on the Director Chargers.
Oh, for the director and myself, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And gals, this has been so much fun. You know the vibes. Until next time, enjoy this time, enjoy the moment. And like the director says, we all get to stay frosty now because we got ice in his veins, the one and only Jim Harbaugh as the Chargers head coach for 2024 and beyond. Thank you for tuning in, and you'll be with the director again soon, I promise you.
Bolt up, everybody. Stay frosty.